Welcome back, Guardians. My name is Trams87, and welcome to Let's Play Destiny 2. We'll call this a pilot episode. So, this is a new series that I'm starting on the channel, which is actually an interview series, but I wanted to kick it off with this sort of pilot episode to kind of give you guys a flavour, a taste of some of the things that I hope to be talking about in the near future. More coming on that soon. But I wanted to focus this video on the Garden of Salvation. Short video, but for a number of reasons. In the last couple of weeks I didn't have the funnest experience playing this raid. And as somebody who does not have a clan currently in Destiny 2, apart from the one that I just made, get into that in a little bit later, but it's important that I talk about my experience because, you know, I realise that there's many people in the community who struggle with the same things. So, Garden of Salvation raid, you load in, you obviously start towards the bottom of this area here, so we'll just run back here for the sake of new players, maybe new light players. I don't want to discourage them from raiding, but it's important that I recount my full experience. So you load in here, usually you'll hear voices, yeah, like that one, that sounds like there's literally people crying out from the bottom of this canyon or cavern or very big well into the dark mist. Anyway, moving forward, so we're going to go, the encounter starts here obviously, and then we move up to where the raid boss is. Now, for those of you who are perhaps wondering, oh, what about the Divinity Exotic? Yes, I have the Divinity Exotic after sweating my face off for, it must have been 10 days to just get this exotic. It's ridiculous. Anyway, okay, so raid encounter, here it is. It doesn't start in this circle here. Obviously, those of you who are veteran players who will be like, smart, what in the world is going on in this video? Yeah, basically this is where you put the raid banner to rebuff all your skills. So that means I'm going to get free armor, free super, and I don't know why I said free armor. Free ammo? That's the word I'm looking for, ammo. Well, I really should have written this down before I recorded. Anyway, jumping in. So, yes, here are my number one gripes. Number one gripe, biggest thing that I have an issue with is, upon walking into this raid, what am I supposed to do? I have no indication telling me anything at all as to what this raid is, who the raid boss even is, and what I'm supposed to do in this room. Now, it took me several failed attempts to learn how to do this. Now, I want to chime in, I'm dyslexic, so certain things it takes me a little longer to understand them. So, that's fine. But, for new players, this is diabolical because you have no idea what to do. So, but the goal of this room is you have a raid team of 6, so you'd normally have, you know, 5 other players with you in here, and you'd split into 2. So 3 teams would stay in this room, and 3 would go into the next room. To go into the next room, you're supposed to tap this box, and it creates a tether. Now, it's pretty simple. The other 2 people will attach to the tether, and eventually it will open the door. That boss is really loud and very scary. So yeah, and then the door will open. Once the door opens, the raiding counter starts. The first team 2 will run through to the other side to, you know, defeat all the enemies, and then team 1 is in here collecting what the boss is going to drop. Now the boss is going to drop usually 2 keys. On occasion, he has spawned 3 keys, and these keys normally look like a beam of light touching the ground. And the goal is you run through that, hopefully without dying from also the enemies that he spawns in to stop you from doing whatever it is that he wants to do. But the problem is, if you've never played this raid before, and you don't have a team, like I didn't, so I jumped into LFG, and I honestly had the worst experience raiding that I've ever had in the history of playing Destiny 2, which is for a big reason why I stopped playing Destiny 2. For almost a year and a half, I stopped playing Destiny 2. I came back for Forsaken, and then I disappeared, so I missed like the Forge and Season of Opulence, some of the seasons that people really enjoy. So I missed all of that stuff. Fine, whatever. I didn't have a clan permanently. I had jumped in and out of different clans. Most of them were on NA and weren't able to play during the time of day that I played. That's fine. However, even trying to do this raid with people who are in your time zone is very, very, very challenging. Now, I experienced racism, I experienced general toxicity, bad attitudes, people just dropping out and leaving the raid because it was too hard and they just felt like they didn't understand it. So I had many of these failed attempts and essentially had to piece together what I know now about this raid, which I will sadly never do again because it honestly stressed me out. Now, some of you might say, well, okay, Smart, you know, maybe raiding's not for you. This is not the typical example of what a raid looks like. Now, here's the thing. Destiny is in a new subgenre. It's a combination of two genres. You've first of all got the MMO genre / FPS. A typical raid has more than 6 people for one boss. There's normally like hundreds of thousands of people show up for one raid boss if you're playing in a traditional MMO. Now, okay, this is not a traditional MMO. However, if you're going to include mechanics from specific games, in my opinion, wouldn't it make sense to have things to help you understand what's going on? So there's no tooltips. I would love to see some sort of like short, brief video or GIF overview, at least explaining to you what this room is, who the boss is, what to do. All we have is this HUD and that's it, the top left, that tells us basically nothing. Evade the consecrated mind and continue tracking the unknown artifact signal. That doesn't really tell me what to do, so that's okay. I don't mind that. Now, I'd like to talk about the exotic. So, this exotic, Divinity, which I'm using right now, is probably one of the best exotics in the game. I don't know. To me it is. I don't go with metas, and I don't really play the game the way other people play it. Maybe that's what my problem is, who knows. But the goal, there is several jumping puzzles and also all sorts of puzzles in order to get this weapon. The first one starts here, and you'll notice here that there is like a hatch that you jump through, and that hatch takes you into a small chamber. And in this room, the idea is similar to what we did to open the door where the raid boss is. There will normally be a orange box here, or a yellow box, and again, you need 3 people in this room to tether. So one person stands here where I am, another person stands here, and the other person is here, and they will tether it over to team 1, who is on the other side doing essentially the same thing. And you'll hear a big rumbling sound, and then it'll give you an indication that that puzzle's been cleared. So all through this raid, there are other puzzles like this of insane difficulty that requires a very, very, very competent team in order to play it. That's not the problem. The problem is finding a team, and here is the main problem that I have currently right now. And this stems for current players, casual players, and new light players. There is no support in terms of first jumping into Destiny 2 to tell you what to do. You were essentially thrown into the deep end and you have to figure everything out. At least when we had the Cabal campaign, that at least broke things down and gave you some explanation as into the, the world that you're in. But at least in a traditional MMO, you have a starter zone, and there's other starter players there. But when you first start playing Destiny, depending on what time zone you're in or country you live in, you could literally be the only player playing this game brand new, and you've got no help. And there's no moderators. There's no like in Guild Wars 2, for example, they have what they call there are people who have basically bought what is the commander tag, and they do the equivalent of Sherpering in Destiny 2, but the difference is you're in game, people can see your tag on the map. For example, the map's not loading right now, obviously, because, okay, there we go. So if this was the world map, maybe this icon here would be a player who is like a community leader or a dev within Destiny 2, and new players would run over to him and be like, hey, I'm new to the game, no idea what to do, and he's like constantly either spamming the same sentences, or he has a group of people who are like sub community managers who are like guild leaders of other guilds, and they will help people and recruit people into their guild. And there are specific areas on every map for this. We don't have that in Destiny 2. We have the farm. The farm is one of the only places that shows you that like is probably one of the only places on Earth, forget every other map, where you're likely to see a lot of new players show up. And this area, it has some utility, and then it has not enough. So you can go there and access like your storage, your vault to store things in. You have the other lady who works for Eververse, and then you have is her name Tara? She's one of the other Cryptarchs anyway, but she does more of like research and looks into the Traveler and the Darkness and all of this stuff, and she has a very big significance. She used to be one of the Iron Lords. Probably don't know what Iron Lords are, but yeah. So this is my video, and I just thought it was important to mention this because I didn't want to feel like I'm the only person. So to address that, I have decided to launch my own clan and Discord community. It is called the Trams Collective. I did want the Ishtar Collective, but then I was like, well, people aren't going to know it's you. So right now it's a provisional clan. If you'd like to join, the link to Discord is in the description for this video, and it's also in my channel banner at the top, so you can click that and join. And it's new player friendly. I will literally be like helping people, take you guys through whatever you need to do. It is PC only right now. Sadly, I don't have console, but if you just want to be part of this, what's going to hopefully be an incredibly inclusive and encouraging community and grow in Destiny 2, there are no metas here. I don't believe in metas. I believe in playing the game that you want to play it and just having a good time. So without waffling on for too long, this is probably a super duper long video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you relate, definitely comment down below. If you can't think of anything to say, just say same in caps, and you know, consider joining my clan in Destiny 2, and or maybe just the Discord. And hopefully we can build a really incredible community. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and Godspeed.